Today I'm sharing with you my Nightmare AR build. As you can see, I have the SWAT team. I have all 8 SWATs. It took me about a week to get all 8 SWATs. I have over 20 full Nightmare completions at this point. I personally tested this build. I've tweaked this build a lot and finally got to the order that I really like. If you're not familiar with liking and commenting on a video, helping the video, it does do that. So if you find this video helpful, please like or comment. Anyway, gonna get right into the build. Also gonna be providing you a complimentary build for everybody looking to double deck. So I have an excellent second deck that you can use with this. We're gonna start off the standard 15 card deck with Patient Hunter. Patient Hunter offers the most bang for the buck. About halfway through a 20 round AR mag, you're already at 20% bonus damage. So you get that 10%. If you hold down your sights for 2.25 seconds, you're doing 30% extra damage. Excellent card. Now, I started loving and I love Marathon Runner. I think out of all the speed cards, if you're not doing a full 15 card speed deck, Marathon Runner offers the most bang for the buck. Being able to back up really fast strafe, I find it really easy to dodge hawkers and spitters and to get into good locations where they can't hit me. Wait for the shot, pop out, kill them. I take the least amount of damage than any of my teammates not running this card, and generally the ones running the card as well, because I'm always listening for that sound, and I'm always trying to get into that spot where I can quickly take them out. Yeah, Marathon Runner is excellent. I love this card. Once you start using it, get used to it, and you'll love it too, I'm pretty sure. So, next up, because this is an AR build, rifle ammo is limited, so we're going to take Ammo Mule. You could try moving this down a little bit and replace it with Tactical Vest. Now, if you do that, though, if you even have 2 people running AR ammo, you're going to have to use your pistol a lot on the zombies and really only use your AR for mutations, or you're just going to run out of ammo. So because of that reason, I just run the Ammo Mule early. Next up, we're going to be taking Glass Cannon. Now, Glass Cannon isn't for everyone. You start with 100 health on Nightmare. It's going to bring you down to 70, but whatever. You do a lot more damage. When you can kill fast, you can take less damage. And that's why I like it. Like I started really liking Glass Cannon. I've been using it a lot more. I'll get into 2 swap out cards for the end. There is a way to counteract the health. I'll show you if you want to do that. It's not what I recommend, but also have a fix for that in the double deck if you're doing the glitch. But if you're not a fan of losing 30% health, then just put in your favorite swap card. But I wouldn't mess with the order just yet. Marked for Death is another excellent card to have early, especially when 2 or 3 players have it early, because when you get that tall boy, if you have 2 or 3 players mark it, and I've seen the 3-player Marked for Death and how fast it just gets deleted, this does stack with other players. I've also heard from other players that swapping the LB and the RB really helps with them marking quickly for their shots. Personally, I use an Elite controller and I put the mark to the top left paddle, but I have heard that the LB RB swap is really good for effectively using Marked for Death. Next up, we're going to take Silver Bullets because it's 10% bullet damage and 15% effective bullet range. And you might be wondering why I have no hyper focus, no weak spot damage in this. Because bullet damage in Nightmare is generally more effective than weak point damage. A lot of times they're armored. By the time you actually pop off their armor and shoot their weak spot, most times they're already basically dead if you got an all DPS bullet damage deck. So you also do so much damage when you do shoot the weak spot, regardless of having the weak spot damage already in the build, that I just find it more convenient and more effective to run straight bullet damage than to include any weak point damage in the deck and go with a little bit more stuff like Ammo Mule and Marathon Runner and Cold Brew Coffee, which I'll get into. But we're going to be taking next up that 7.5 bullet damage and that 200% bullet penetration so we can tear down mobs a little bit. And you will just annihilate mobs, especially if you got an extended mag on your AR already. And you can also pick up an LMG. Like if you see a really good LMG, you can pick that up as well. You just got to be a little bit more careful because there is no speed increase and you're already at -5. So you can walk with the LMG. You're just going to have to use your pistol whenever you're not really firing the LMG or you're moving from area to area. Just quickly pull out the LMG to shoot down a mutation. Next up, because we got so much damage already, we are going to take down in front. Now, if you are immensely careful and your teammates are as well, you might be able to get away with not using down in front. It has not been my experience, though. I keep getting at least like one player that just wants to strafe constantly that also doesn't have down in front or do it standing, and I down them. Like, I probably get about 2 or 3 downs a game. It's kind of hard when you get a wretch and somebody stands up and jumps and then you down them because you already got your sight aimed in. It's really easy to remove it with the sniper or the shotgun, but it's harder when you're dumping a full mag aimed down the sight, especially sometimes because you'll have a 4x sight or you have a 2x sight. And because of that reason for this build, because of the damage it already puts out, it's as much damage you could have if you weren't running a full out DPS sniper build. I have down in front in the build. I'll put it late. Be careful in the beginning. Try to get that damage up early to take down mutations, but I do have the down in front, and you could take it a little bit early if needed. I'm trying to hold it at the 8 position though. That's where I have it. I've not had a problem with it as long as I get it in the build. Next up, I got Tactical Vest. This is for 10% damage, but also you get a little bit more rifle ammo, so it's really nice. Next up, I have Shredder. Could have put this up a little bit earlier, but the bullet damage stacks, and I don't know. Shredder, I found a lot more times that with this build, I'm singly taking out mutations. Like, I'll have like 25 mutation killed in a match. The second DPS player will probably have like 15 to 20, and the other players just have basically none. So Shredder, I kind of moved down a little bit. I feel like a lot of times in Nightmare, once you got full DPS players, they're just taking out mutations by themselves after like the first 2 missions. So good teamwork for the first 2 missions, and then after that you can take Shredder a little bit later in the game. Also got Confident Killer. I've realized in standard slow play gameplay, you're generally killing somewhere between 30 to 50 plus mutations. You get Confident Killer fairly quickly. An extra 15% damage, really nice. Next up, we're going to take Cold Brew Coffee. Great card, 15% reload, 25 aim, 25 weapon swap, 25 use speed. So it's 90% of stuff that we do actually use. Next up, we got Line 'em Up for effective range, recoil control, bullet penetration, and aim speed. Another 65-75% of stuff that we use. Now, the last 2 cards, I got Trauma Resistance and more Trauma Resistance and Health. Now, you don't need to take this. I'm going to show you the swap out deck or the paired deck for this. And here is a couple of other 2 combos that really do fit the build. One is 2 is 1 and 1 is none, but wherever you put this in the build, I recommend moving up Cold Brew Coffee to right before it. That way you don't have a really slow swap speed. You don't need Cocky. Cocky is nice if you're running like 2 LMGs, but I run the gameplay with the 2 is 1, 1 is none. As long as I have Cold Brew Coffee before it, I have no problem with the gameplay. I feel very comfortable with the swap speed. But if you're gonna run that, you might as well run admin reload as well. So every time you swap, your other weapon reloads. The next 2 combo that you can run in place of body armor and durable is to counteract the effects of glass cannon. You can do 40 health, which is basically the health that you lose. You lose 30 health on Nightmare in the start for having glass cannon. You're going to lose 30% of the 40, so you'll lose 12. So I think you lose 2 or something if you run the glass cannon. I almost never do run it at the start, so I forget the exact amount that you would lose. And you'd have to put this later in the build too. You can't run it in the beginning and have a DPS build as well. You gotta run the DPS first. But if you are gonna run the canned goods, negative 30 stamina, that's just way too much stamina to lose. So you gotta run rhythmic breathing. And the last 2-card combo, you could replace body armor and durable. And I'm gonna get into why exactly that is my last 2 as well. Is steady aim and hellfire. This would give you more recoil, 30% more recoil after 2.25 seconds, 80% aim speed. You would lose 50 ADS move speed, but it's not a big deal, especially having Marathon Runner. But also because you can run hellfire and you'll gain 5% move speed, which will counteract the ammo meal, and you'll gain the 45 move speed that would counteract the steady aim. So this is also a really nice combo to run in there if you want to go with the full DPS and no defense. So the reason that I put body armor and durable is because I already got all 8 of my slots, and I know a lot of you are using this dual deck. I see you doing it. And if you run the body armor and durable in the first deck and you run it in the second deck, that's 80% trauma resistance. Add in the doc's passive if you got a doc that's already swapping between 2 characters, or they're just set on that one character, which is a good thing if the host can play doc. You're at 100% trauma resistance, and even with 100% trauma resistance, you'll take the slightest bit of trauma if you go down or you happen to die, but you take so little trauma. It's really nice. Then obviously, since this is a pair deck, I'm just going to leave this up. I'm not going to get into all these cards. Most of them are duplicates. I've already gotten into all this right here. But this is the deck that I would recommend as a second deck if you want to run 2 decks. And that is my AR build. I like the extra trauma resistance at the end. But as I showed you, there are those 3 other 2 combos that you can work into the build if you don't want to run body armor and durable. The 15% ammo capacity loss is just nothing since you're already running ammo mule and tactical vest. And that is my Nightmare AR. Technically AR LMG build, but it's mostly AR. You can pick up an LMG, but if you are going to pick up an LMG, I recommend using the drop pick up tactic where you hit the back button and then you hit A to drop the weapon. Then you look down and you hit X to pick up the weapon. And that will automatically reload your gun for you, so you can skip the reload process on your LMG. Just another little tip for you if you don't already know.